Hey, I think it's 5 o'clock, so we'll call our meeting to order. And,
Recording in progress.
okay, now we're officially called the meeting to order. So thank you, everybody, for being here. This is the Land Use and Transportation Council Committee meeting, the last meeting of the year. And we have Jack Walsh on my left, Council President Linda Kochmar on the right. On the left also, Hong Tran on my left, and Councilmember Susan Honda on right. So I've got to remember which is right and left. Okay, so we'll go to the first item of business, which is public comment. Is there any public comment? No, it looks like a lot of staff people ready to get going. So we'll move on to committee business. Anybody have any committee business they'd like to bring up before we start? No, so we'll go to item A, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move to item B, approve interlocal agreement, King County Metro interlocal agreement for bus stop enhancement construction. Mr. Strong, you're up.
All right. Okay, yes. I'm John Strong. This is like you said, for the King County Metro Interagency Agreement, or interlocal agreement. Policy question is, should the City Council authorize entering into an interlocal agreement with King County for the bus stop enhancement construction? Some background, King County Metro has this program/fund that lets them coordinate with cities and have them build bus pads for them, just because it's easier for us to go out with our projects, our bigger projects, and loop them all together than for them to go out. They'll get bad prices for it. We'll be reimbursed for all the design, all the construction, all our admin time that we put towards it. And the bus pads will be added to the 26 overlay as a separate schedule. Here's the map of all the locations. They're pretty citywide, a few grouped up together, but kind of all over the place. The estimated cost is going to be $293,800 after splitting up all the management, design, and admin. We have two options. One is to approve the proposed interagency agreement, which is the mayor's recommendation, and the second is not approve it and provide direction for staff. Any questions? And I have maps for each location if you want to look at them. So.
Council President?
Thank you. When you say bus pad, is that just, there's no shelter or anything, just a
Yeah,
bus
they
stop?
don't have a stop there, so we're gonna leave a post for them, and they'll come in and put their post. Some of them have like planter strips, so all we're doing is basically just putting concrete that's connecting the planter strip or for the road to the sidewalk. So
So do we put a waste can there too, by any chance?
I don't believe so, no.
Might be a good idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't think they put them on. It's not a full shelter. It's just stops. So it's just gonna be a stein where they can get picked up. None of them are full shelters.
Councilmember Honda?
Thank you. Are these new bus stops?
Yes.
So they're all, it looked like there were quite a few of them.
Yeah,
And
they're all being added to current routes. But I think it's just some spots that they have high foot traffic and they want to add a new stop there, or if they're been requested, or not sure.
So do you know but you don't know what routes these are?
They're all different routes. There's multiple ones. There's one that's going up Dash Point. There's one going up Hoyt. I'm not familiar with all the bus stop routes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Looks like we have a pitch hitter.
Right. So most of these are on existing routes. There's a couple locations on Dash Point Road that are associated with a new route that is proposed with the restructure associated with Sound Transit coming into town. So, and that route would use Dash Point Road, basically coming up 21st from Twin Lakes Park and Ride, and then over to Star Lake Park and Ride. But all the others are on existing routes that the 187 is associated with the ones on Hoyt Road. and on 35th Southwest.
And the only reason that they're doing this is because we're resurfacing those roads?
No, actually, it's basically since they wanted to join with us, have us construct whether we had an overlay in that area or not. These
Oh,
were
okay.
locations that they said, we want to enhance the bus stops or construct new ones in association with these route restructures. And so they approached us, asked us if we were willing to take that work on and include it in our overlay contract to hopefully get better prices.
Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Walsh?
Yeah, you said that they wanted to enhance the bus stops or create new ones. So are some of these existing stops that they're enhancing then, or are they all new ones and?
It's
that
a
seems like-
combination.
Okay.
So some of them, like the ones on Hoyt Road, there's an existing route out there now. But right now, that it runs a loop that only goes clockwise, and they're going to enhance that with two-way service on Hoyt Road. So they're putting the stops on the east side of the road paired with the existing southbound ones.
Okay, all right. So overall, the city's getting more stops then?
Yes.
Okay.
My last question is, and we're covered 100% from the money to do it? We're not actually, we're getting reimbursed 100%?
Yeah, so that estimate number is just our personal estimate. Whatever the contractor puts as the bid items, that's what we're getting back from them. So
Okay,
there's
thank
be
you.
no leftover, and we're getting. let's go here.
Okay.
Yeah, these construction management are percentages of whatever the construction bid items are, so.
Okay. Lydia?
Yeah, thank you.
And welcome.
Thank you. Do you know if these stops are going to have seating areas and covers and stuff?
No, they're not gonna be shelters. It's just gonna be just a sign in the ground and, connecting, getting rid of the planter strip with more sidewalk, so.
So I have a problem with that because some of those you wait for a long time because they don't come frequently enough. And especially if you're disabled or if it's raining, you're just out in the element and nowhere to really sit or to be sheltered. And I don't know if we can negotiate that to be included. The ones that were removed are already, that's not even okay, but it is what it is.
Right. So Metro's policy is to not install a shelter until there's at least 25 riders a day at that particular stop. So until the ridership gets to those thresholds, they aren't going to want to put one in.
But that's not going to work for Federal Way.
Well, then they'd be expecting us to do that and also potentially cover the maintenance. So,
Because 1, 2, or 3, if I need it, I need it, right?
understood.
Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that? So is 25 people a day at a stop, then they consider a shelter?
That's correct.
And if in 2 months, 25 people are a day at one of these stops, will they come back and say, okay, now we'll pay for it?
Yeah, although that's subject to their internal prioritization as to how much they can afford to do in any given year.
How much does a cover cost? Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea.
Okay.
We put in a couple in 288th, and it increased the costs per stop, like 20 to 30 grand per stop. So it's,
Okay.
because you have to put in structural foundation, and they put in like rebar in the concrete too. It's like a little overkill, I think, but it's part of their standard, so.
Councilmember Honda?
Could we just put in, as a city, just benches that maybe 2 people could sit on? At some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but if, if there's a need, could we do that? That couldn't cost that much money. Just not a cover, just a bench. Because, I know when I need to sit, when my legs are giving out, you need to sit. And hopefully if it's raining, someone has an umbrella, but
I don't have a cost on that, so I can't answer that other than It might require some changes in the foundation design in order to have that installed, but that we could certainly ask Metro.
Okay, thanks.
So following up on that, is it possible, they're going to pay for this and these are the stops, and you just said the foundations have to be made a little differently when you put covers and benches. Is there any way to ask if they would pay for the additional cost for the concrete to be already ready? I mean, if you're talking about putting rebar in to reinforce it and things like that, is it usable that way? All they can do is say no.
Yeah, we're not positive on that, but, ordinarily, like, I know, for instance, on development projects where they ask us to provide a shelter, we turn around and ask the developer to provide that shelter, and usually it's intended to accommodate a future shelter. So depending on what standard drawing they give us for what they want, that may already be in place. I'm not sure.
Okay, do I have a motion to move this forward?
Mr. Chair, I move to forward the proposed King County Metro interlocal agreement to the January 6, 2026 Council consent agenda for approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item C, which is approved contract 2025 commute trip reduction implementation agreement between the City of Federal Way and the City of SeaTac.
Good evening, committee. My name is John Howard, Transportation Planner, City of Federal Way, and also the Employee Transportation Coordinator for City Hall employees. So this evening I'm talking, oops. This is the next one. My apologies. One moment, please, while I pull up the right
Right, you
presentation.
got two of them here.
Yes, here we go. So I'm talking about the grant that we received from
Okay,
WashDOT.
so
to-
this one you have up here is item D. The one you had before was item C. So I think you switch them back
Oh.
if I look at the titles correctly.
My apologies.
There you go. Thank you.
A little mixed up there, thank you. Okay, so we're talking about the implementation agreement or the interlocal agreement between the City of Federal Way and City of SeaTac to provide commute trip reduction technical services. So we've provided that support since 2023. The nature of the work shares very similar features. It ensures administrative consistency with some of the administrative guidelines that WashDOT sets out for the program, as well as allows both cities to reduce staffing costs and redundancies. And point 5 here, we have SeaTac staff. I work with Karen Battis at the City of SeaTac. She has indicated that she supports the work that we do, as well as the city traffic engineer, and they appreciate the service we provide. So they're eager to renew the agreement with the City of Federal Way. The options before the council are to authorize the interlocal agreement in the amount of $45,000 per year, or do not authorize the agreement and provide direction to staff. Mayor's recommendation is to forward option 1 to January 6th City Council consent agenda for approval. And I'm happy to take any.
Councilmember Walsh?
Yeah, so it's not clear, with this agreement, is it the City of SeaTac staff that's doing the work or our staff that's doing the work?
So the City of Federal Way, I myself and the traffic division, we provide the services for the City of SeaTac.
Okay, and the $45,000, that is $45,000 the SeaTac is paying Federal Way then?
Correct.
Okay, because that's not clear.
We
in the-
receive $45,000.
Okay, yeah, in what you have here, it's not clear who's doing what and who's paying which way, so that clarifies it then. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Tran?
Thank you, Chair. I have a follow-up question on that. So, City of SeaTac is paying us $45,000 to manage this program for them.
Correct.
Is that amount adequate to cover our salary and benefits, the employee that we pay here?
Yes, thank you for asking. Recently approved funding has reduced slightly, but it doesn't affect our work this cycle because we have recently written their major policy documents for the program, which is kind of the biggest lift in the 4-year cycle. So and then we expect the City of SeaTac's funding to potentially increase next cycle as more sites come online. Alaska Airlines is building a couple of new locations. So there's been kind of some ebb and flow, but we don't expect it to interfere with our ability to provide the services.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, do they pay us one time up front, or is it billed monthly, or how do we get the 45,000?
It's billed quarterly in increments.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, do we have a motion?
I move to forward the proposed option 1 to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now you get to do the next one. Authorization to award WashDOT Transportation Demand Management Implementation Grant Agreement.
Thank you. Yes, so I wanted to speak to this one a little bit more first, but that's okay. We'll
Please.
fix that next time, to just kind of discuss what CTR is and whatnot.
The
So-
floor is yours, so you can discuss all you want.
Thank you. So the policy question before us is, should the council authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation, allowing the state to reimburse the city its share of technical assistance funding for implementing commute trip reduction law? So the RCW outlines, commute trip reduction is under the umbrella of transportation demand management. It's mandated by state law. It's a funded mandate. So the purpose is to improve air quality, to reduce traffic congestion, to minimize energy consumption. The law establishes employer-based programs and encourage alternatives to drive alone commuting. Options before the council are to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement to accept the state CTR technical fund in the amount of $44,300 for the 2025 to 2027 biennium. Option 2 is do not authorize, and the city would need to allocate budget in the amount of $44,300 for that biennium in order to implement the program.
Councilmember Walsh?
Yeah, similar to what Councilmember Tran asked before, is that 44,300 that we'd be getting from the state, does it actually cover our expense so that we accrue?
Thank you for the question. Yes, in a similar instance as the city of SeaTac, where we did lose a work site, which decreased funding slightly. I believe we had 49,000 in the previous cycle, so it's reduced approximately 5,000. But again, for the same reason, we've already updated our CTR plan and our major policy documents. So we basically just have to survey work sites and do their program reports going forward, in addition to other marketing assistance and work site plan needs. So it's a little bit of a less heavy work cycle.
Okay. All right, thank you. Kind of novel idea, a funded mandate. Normally, the state just gives us unfunded mandates,
So-
wow.
So I do have a question. It says 25 to 27, so we're getting this for 26 through 27?
Correct.
So we've already done the first year of the work and didn't get money, and now we're doing the second year, and all of a sudden they decided to give it? Is that how it works, or?
Indeed.
Okay.
Yes, this is correct.
So this was this in our budget from 25, or is this one of those surprise? Okay, so you already knew the money was coming just a year later. Got it.
Yes, we've requested to basically do a double invoice in January.
Council President?
So this has to do with employees. Commute trip reduction means that the employees are they being reimbursed for?
Correct. So, or It could be a combination of strategies. We work with employers to help them create programs where they can encourage alternate modes to drive alone commuting. So that could be including van pool, carpool parking spaces up front. It could be having showers for people who walk and bike. It could be a number of different things, or it could be an incentive program like how we offer our employees. It could be Orca cards. There's a whole host of strategies that we could implement and work with them on.
So how successful are we? I'm just curious.
We're picking up. It's post-COVID. It has been, COVID has been a challenge. We closely track and monitor some of the trends in terms of the number of people taking transit, and it's slowly picking up kind of every year. So we offer the program, and every HR benefits fair, we discuss with our employees the options they have. Sometimes they know about it, sometimes they don't. So it's great to reach out to them.
So a lot of this is we are just using it for salaries for us doing the work. Is that correct?
Oh, thank you for the question. Oh, for the WashDOT, this particular item is to, yes, fund our share of the work that we are doing as staff with employers in the region.
So I'm just tracing back to money. So the money comes from WashDOT, and it's a grant.
Correct.
And I'm assuming that all the cities get that type of a grant for
Correct.
CTR if they choose to do the program.
Yes.
Okay, so, so WashDOT's, the money coming from WashDOT is coming from the tax that we have on our gas tax, or where does that money really come from? Any idea? Just curious.
It comes out of the general legislature fund. It's not part of the gas tax funding. It's just part of WashDOT's general fund. And under state law, they're obligated to pay the cities to do this work. So the majority of the work is not for City of Federal Way employees. So we administer this program for all employers within the city limits that have more than 100 employees. So there's very little amount of work that is directly like for city staff directly. It's for the hospital, the school district,
Sure.
DaVita, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure, I was just trying to determine how they came up with this idea in the legislature, really, is what I was trying to get
Yeah,
down to.
it's been around for a long time
Yeah, I know
at this
that.
point.
I actually know that,
Yeah, and it started with good intent to try and get, and John hit on both of them, both van pools as well as people onto buses to reduce
Yeah.
single occupancy vehicles.
Yeah, so it's paying for van pools, really. It's paying for the van itself?
The vans and Metro and everything else, but the goal is to reduce employers that have a large population of employees that have single occupancy vehicles. So one person driving their own car to work and get them to van pool, ride a bus, whatever alternate method might be from WashDOT's perspective, their goal is to reduce the number of cars on the highways and to increase capacity. That's what's driving it for them.
Well, I know, and we're not going to change the thinking in the legislature. I'm just trying to think of how we can get a benefit out of this for us, like, how do we get a van, or how do we?
So we're mandated, so the city wouldn't get the van. If we actually have spots out front. So if a group of employees wanted to use the vans are through King County.
Yeah,
They
King County
could get a
vans,
van and have a van pool as a group of city employees if they wanted
Well, that
to.
would be
And
interesting.
that would be something that we would help facilitate.
Yeah, I was just thinking as gas prices continue to escalate, that might be a real benefit for some folks, because not everybody can get on the bus because there isn't a bus available that would come here.
Yeah.
But a van would work really well.
It would
so-
work for the city hall employees, absolutely.
Oh, you might want to kind of look into that. That might be a good future idea.
Yeah, and I think that the bigger point is we are obligated to have this program based on the
Yeah, I
population
know.
of the city. So, I mean, effectively, not taking the grant, we're still obligated to have
No,
a
this has been
report.
around since,
It has, so-
25 years maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
it's just
exactly.
grown.
So, effectively getting the state to pay for the work that they're obligating us to do,
Yeah.
as was said, it's actually a funded mandate, is,
Yeah.
in
Well,
our best interest.
look for a van. That would be really
We
cool.
have to find a group of employees that want a van first.
Yeah,
That's the.
okay. Oh, thank you.
Councilmember Walsh?
Yeah, how many businesses participate in this program?
Currently, we have 6 work sites in the city. That's DaVita, the hospital, us, the school district, World Vision, and Financial Pacific.
Okay,
Is that 6? 6 or 7? It fluctuates every cycle.
all right,
So-
thank you.
So a question I have is, with the light rail opening up, and maybe people commute from north on the light rail, could this program put shuttle service from the end of the light rail to City Hall, to St. Francis, to the school district across the street?
No. So this program doesn't fund vehicles or fund actual transportation. This program facilitates basically having a staff person that makes the connections to those programs that are already funded through
Oh,
separate
gotcha,
means.
gotcha. That-
So we can't use the funding for this program to.
Okay, it staffs it so we can run it, not
Correct.
make it happen.
Yes, exactly.
That's another pool of money somewhere at the state?
We're still trying to find that pool. So some of it is the King County Van Pool program that the council president referenced. So
And I
that
think-
is funded, and effectively, if there's a group of employees that want to utilize that, that's fairly easy to get.
I know a couple of years ago, there used to be one, if I wanted to drive a van from here to Crystal Mountain and take employees, the state would give me a van.
It's the same program.
Same program?
Yep.
So there are vans available if people wanted to drive from the transit center to here and across the street?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Lydia?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they used to offer like tickets or taxi vouchers if you had an emergency, right? Because a lot of people are concerned about, what if I have to leave and go somewhere at,
Yeah, so there is a reimbursement program if you bring like a van to work and you have a family emergency and you have to get home for a kid's doctor appointment or whatever the case may be. There's a provision to reimburse. It's not a voucher. It's you incur the cost, then this
Okay.
program would reimburse you. But yeah, that's still in place.
But at least there's a way to get to your appointment or whatever you need to do if there's an emergency.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other one, I don't know if we currently do, but historically, where we've had the most use of this program is there is a incentive if you bike to work. If you actually ride your bike, you get a monthly allowance. So that, as far as city employees go, that was the one that was taken advantage of the most.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to forward the proposed agreement and fund acceptance to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, thank you very much. And now we're going to go to authorization to accept transportation grant. Mr. Mesmer? Did I say that right?
Yes, Mesmer. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so tonight I'm going to be talking about accepting the transportation grant funding. The policy question is, should the city authorize acceptance of transportation grant funding? If you guys recall, I was here a few months ago asking for permission to apply for this grant for the city center greenway. And we recently found out we were successful in that application. The Transportation Improvement Board, or TIB, wants to give us the money. The estimated project cost is an even $1 million. We have already budgeted for $500,000 in the city budget, and the TIB wants to give us the $500,000 to match. The options are to accept the transportation grant funding or to not accept the transportation grant funding. Mayor recommends option 1.
Councilmember Walsh.
So what all is this funding?
Yeah, so the city center greenway project, we talked about last time, is going to be pedestrian and bicycle improvements on 20th Avenue South and South 308th Street. I have a map that I can pull up in the back of the presentation. So this is the location of the project. From the Federal Way High School, there on the left or the west side, at 99 and 308th, down through this neighborhood to 312th and 20th and PVR. The idea of this project being to connect the recently completed trail project that goes from the Federal Way High School up north down to the city center with the light rail and wanting to bring more things into the city center. So we have the sidewalk and bike lanes starting down at 312th and a good crossing across 99 there at 308th. So the idea is to bridge that gap. We're studying alternatives right now, but the hope is to build some sidewalk on South 308th Street. And we're currently in the process of doing public engagement on 20th Avenue to see what the community might best want and see what makes the most sense.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Honda?
Thank you. So this would be going into a neighborhood with existing homes and a lot of cars are parked along the streets there. And if we were to build sidewalks there, then it could impact how they park their cars. So, and the road, correct?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
why is this needed there? I mean, it seems, because it's a residential area, there's not, I mean, why is it needed?
Well, currently, there's not much pedestrian facility in this area. The people just walk on the road. And the idea is to, provide a space where you're expecting the people to be walking.
So will the sidewalks or the trail only be on one side of the road, not both?
Likely, yes. Yeah, the idea is to provide a connection to use. I don't think the funding wouldn't cover us to do it on both sides.
So I'm trying to visualize this because I drive through there to go to the high school, actually. And so we'll be taking part of the existing roadway to put in a sidewalk. So then we're making the road narrow, and there's a lot of cars that park along the side of the streets on both sides there. Does the neighborhood want this? Did we talk to the neighborhood before we went out for the grant?
We're in the process of talking to the neighborhood right now, and yeah, that's correct that either design we come up with will likely reduce the parking. On 20th, a lot of it's, grass, ditch anyway. On 308, there is some parking that would likely be reduced. But that's the trade-off as part of it providing a better pedestrian.
So just to
Well,
be,
it'll be interesting to see what the neighbors want.
yeah, I mean, just to be clear, this is one of the projects that came out of updating the traffic improvement plan, the 20-year plan, at the request of the residents that lived here to create more walkable, safe spaces. So 308th has I'm going to call it a paved shoulder, but that's being mean to paved shoulders, frankly, that's designed for walking on right now, but that's what it was built for. It's kind of turned a little bit in parts into parking, which it's supposed to be a walking path for people to use, but unfortunately it's kind of been taken over and can't be used as a walking path. So part of this project is based on the community feedback that we got a couple of years ago to get back to that, to have a safe place, especially for kids walking to the high school. As you point out, this is a safe routes to school pathway that unfortunately the kids are getting pushed out into the street because the cars are parking where they're not supposed to be. So that was kind of the basis of this project, was feedback from this community that we need to have better safe paths for students to be able to get to the school. 20th is a similar story. 20th is ditch line the entire way. There's not supposed to be any parking through there. Both of these are collector roads, so they're not supposed to have parking. But 20th has had a number of places on the road over the years where homeowners have gone in and basically filled in the ditch line and have turned it into parking without permits, without approval from the city to do such within the city right away. So again, this is getting back to the restoring the safety for students to be able to get to the schools is a large factor of what's driving this project. as well as to unfortunately undo some activities that were put in by homeowners without permits, and get back to that, creating a safe path to get to the school.
Well, I like safe paths to school. I mean, I worked on that for over 30 years.
Yeah.
But I could see, I mean, if I lived there and it was my side of the road that gets a sidewalk and I can't park there anymore, I might not like it. I might want it on the other side.
Understood.
I could see some issues.
Yeah, understood. I mean, I think the counter argument to that is there's not supposed to be parking there to start. So if people have illegally
Yeah,
changed the street, I mean, the other option is we go out and just rip it out and put it back to ditch line.
I get it, but I will be interested to see how the neighborhood reacts. So, thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to move this forward?
I move to forward the proposed acceptance of a transportation grant to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we'll go to item F, contract amendment, amend the maintenance agreement for the fleet maintenance non-police.
Good evening, council.
And you're gonna be up here for a little while, so.
Yeah, we got a little bit. My name is Jared Larson. I'm the operations manager for Public Works. Given the context for items F and G, they're very similar. So if it's okay, I'm going to do it in one presentation.
Let's do them one at a time, just because they are, you want to merge?
I'd say.
Well, let's,
It's very similar.
let's-
For the sake of time, I'd say let's do them together.
we'll vote on them individually, but you can
Perfect.
merge them together. How's that?
That would be much appreciated.
Wait, don't we want to be here till 8?
No,
Let me see here.
we're gonna, talking about spending $500,000, we better do it right, correct?
Okay, just making sure that this is merged. Okay, good evening. I'm here to present the amendments to two fleet maintenance agreements, one for non-police and one with police with Eagle Tire and Automotive. Policy question, should council approve the amendments of both the maintenance agreements for fleet maintenance non-police, which includes all the just general vehicles for the rest of City Hall, and fleet maintenance police vehicles with Eagle Tire and Automotive through December 31st, 2026, for an additional not-to-exceed amount of $150,000 for non-police and $250,000 for police. Background, so the city facilitates repair and maintenance services for 108 general operation vehicles. These are non-police vehicles, and 205 police vehicles. Maintenance service includes routine and preventative maintenance, replacement of normal wear and tear items, and additional repairs on an as-needed basis. The existing agreement expires at the end of this year, 2025, December 31st. And Eagle Tire and Automotive has provided vehicle maintenance services for the past 8+ years for the city. Financial summary, so the contract for the 2026 contract of non-police, it is amended amount of $150,000. 2026 fleet maintenance police is an amended amount of $250,000. And below is the budget of $150,000 for non-police and $250,000 for police. Options considered, authorize council to approve the amendments for both the maintenance agreements for fleet maintenance, non-police, and maintenance vehicles. And maintenance, sorry, let me back up. For fleet maintenance, non-police, and fleet maintenance police with Eagle Tire and Automotive through December 31st, 2026. For an additional not-to-exceed amount of $150,000 for non-police and $250,000 for police. Option 2, do not approve the proposed amendments and provide direction to staff. Mayor recommends option 1. Are there any questions?
Councilmember Honda?
Thanks. So who is responsible for determining if a city vehicle needs work done? Is it the employee who drives the vehicle, especially with our police because they take their vehicles home, or is it you? I don't know what your job is, so.
Yes, so what I can speak for is the contract management for non-police vehicles. We assist with the contract with police because the context of the contracts are very similar. So service of vehicles is driven by several factors. How many miles are put on it? What is the routine frequency for oil changes needed based off of the type of vehicle. Given that too is the amount of mileage, the wear and tear that the police may see with tires that need to be replaced and other items that may break down, whether a starter goes bad, you get a bad battery, or an alternator, they're having issues. So the police department, the quartermaster, and other staff, I don't want to speak for them, but they primarily drive the routine service intervals for those vehicles. And then on the public works side, for the rest of the city staff, we have a system in place where we track mileage, we track wear and tear of the vehicles. We send out notices when vehicles are due for service. In addition, if there's any issues, staff can always notify the fleet division, and the fleet division will promptly respond and either schedule those in-house or go to Eagle Tire and Automotive in this scenario. Very worded, I don't know if that answers your.
So is it up then to the employee, so let's say that there's a public works truck, is it assigned to one person and only one person drives that truck generally?
Depends on the scenario. So there are shared pool vehicles for city staff. There are assigned vehicles for staff. The maintenance, if there's something that comes up that's unusual, you know, if you get the warning on your dash that says oil change,
Right.
due, you know, that staff typically will reach out to the fleet division. We're also tracking the mileage of those vehicles, so we know when those vehicles need to go for service, if that makes sense.
So how do you track the mileage?
So the mileage is tracked on several factors. It's based off of frequency of service intervals. It's also tracked based off of metrics and telemetrics that we can review individually on very specific vehicles. And then usually over time, you can build a trend of the amount of miles of what's been put on a vehicle. And you know, if you hit the certain trend of a certain amount of time, it'll say this vehicle's due for service, and then fleet will facilitate that service. And if it's due for service, great. If not, and the vehicle checks out and it passes safety inspections, then it's back out into the fleet.
And then someone in-house does a safety inspection?
Depends. So we have capable staff of doing these inspections. Part of services that are done at Eagle are multi-point safety inspections.
So I know with my vehicles, depending on how we drive them, it'll tell us when we need an oil change or the tire is rotated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what we expect employees to tell us if that pops up?
It would be in the best interest for employees to say something if they see it, but we work very hard to monitor these vehicles and the service intervals. They're a significant investment, and they're also an
Right.
essential service for staff. And it's important for me and our fleet division and the rest of Public Works, and I'll assume police too, that we keep these vehicles in safe working condition. So in doing so, it's at our best interest to keep a frequent and routine approach with these. So I guess I was
just wondering who's
you're-
responsible for determining if the vehicle needs to be serviced.
So police for police and Public Works for the rest of non-police.
So when we go into the new maintenance facility,
Mhm.
I thought we had put in, I thought we were going to maintain our own vehicles there. Is that not, are we not doing that?
That is the plan. We have to get the facility operational, so it's
Okay.
not, I mean, the plan has always been that we would finish this budget, the 25-26 budget, using Eagle, and then look at staffing that using a lot of the funding that Jared's talking about tonight.
Okay.
When we build the 27-28 budget.
Okay,
So no, we're still on track to that.
all right, thank you.
Could you go back, it's 150,000 and 250,000, and the number of vehicles again was what? You had to
So
go
there
back, how many?
are-
106 and 250, what was that? number?
No, there's 108 general operational vehicles. That is not including backhoes, heavy equipment.
Yeah, this is
So
driving
just-
around the city vehicles.
Yep, just driving around. And then the police department is 205.
So my question, I just took my car in and it was $3,000, to rotate the tires and do all this stuff. I got the quote. This is like less than $1,100 a vehicle. I mean, we can maintain all these on $1,100 for the non,
Yeah, I mean, like Jared said, this doesn't include the backhoes and
yeah, I got
the
that.
construction equipment side of it. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing.
That's one visit a year, basically.
So, I mean, we also give them enough work that we're not
You're
paying
getting the right
full,
price.
yeah, full prices like you're talking about for someone that has one car. I mean, we've managed it within the budget.
Okay.
So at this point, yes, I think I'm
And then-
comfortable with these.
And then my other question is, because it's what I used to do, we have people doing this, or are we using GPS to tell us when to change the oil and rotate the tires and all that stuff that you can pay for now and not have a person do it?
We use a couple of systems.
We-
So
we-
we do use a telematic system.
You're using a
that-
telematic
that
system
Jared
right
referenced
now?
on, yes,
Okay.
on most vehicles, not
Most
all.
vehicles.
And then we also, the fueling system that we use with the school district.
Right.
That also records the mileage and
Okay.
kicks out reports as well.
So you get a report whenever you wanted to, how many miles they've driven. You don't have you're looking at the telematics to tell you they've gone 3,000 miles, it's time to change the oil, whatever. Not some person.
Yeah, and it even more specifically, it's telling us that
Yeah.
it's time to change the oil.
You made it sound like somebody was going around making marks instead of pulling up the computer.
That would take
So-
the fun out of it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we come out of the dark ages.
Yep.
Okay, anybody have a motion to move first to item F and then item G?
Sure, I move to forward the proposed option 1 to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, do you need to do that again for the next one? Okay, we're going to do item G, which is for the police vehicles. Do I have a motion?
I move to forward the proposed option 1 to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Okay, now we're going to go to item H. Approve agreement authorization to enter into an interlocal agreement with King County for use of the regional stormwater decant facility.
Yes.
Is that,
Okay, so I am here seeking authorization to enter into the interlocal agreement with King County for use of the regional stormwater decant facility. Policy question, should the council authorize Public Works to enter into an interlocal agreement with King County for use of the regional decant facility? Background, in 2021, Surface Water Maintenance entered into a limited term use agreement with King County for use of their facility. The existing agreement expires December 31st of this year, 2025. The decant facilities allow for proper disposal of waste solids and liquids that are removed from stormwater systems, catch basins, pipes. The 2026-2027 two-year use agreement will allow Surface Water Maintenance to continue utilizing the King County decant facility. The approved 2025-2026 SWIM 401 budget includes $25,500 for waste disposal billing. No impact to the SWIM 401 or general fund is anticipated. Options considered, authorize Public Works to enter into an interlocal agreement with King County for use of the regional decant facility. Option 2, do not authorize and provide direction to staff. The mayor recommends option 1. Are there any questions?
seeing no questions, do I have a motion?
I move to forward the proposed option 1 to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're going to go to approve contract amend the 2023 right-of-way landscape maintenance contract.
Okay, I'm here to present the 2023 right-of-way landscape maintenance contract approval to amend. Policy question, should council approve the amendment of the 2023 right-of-way landscape maintenance contract with Mackmore Incorporated through December 31st, 2027 for an additional not-to-exceed amount of $486,628.64, provided that the contract authorization for 2027 is contingent upon budget approval. Project background, right-of-way landscape maintenance is accomplished through both contract approximately 40%, and city staff in-house 60%. Also includes litter picks and garbage container services throughout the city. Maintenance contract was awarded to Macmore in October of 2022 for one calendar year with the option to amend the contract, including increases based on the June Puget Sound CPI. Macmore has successfully completed work for the city the past 8 years and has provided an excellent level of service. Budget, so 2026 base bid, landscape maintenance is $135,556.06. Base bid alternate 1, garbage containers and litter picks, $74,916.88. For 2027, base bid landscape maintenance is $139,216.07. Bid alternate 1 for 27 for garbage containers and litter picks, $76,939.63. And then the interstate for 2026 and 2027, interstate ramp cleanup is a grant of $60,000. The total anticipated cost is $486,628.64. What is budgeted is $490,000.
Councilmember Honda.
Thank you. Does the landscape maintenance program include the islands in the middle of the roads that have been transitioned from dirt and trees to pavement?
They include all types of islands, yes.
So they would keep those clean? Instead, they don't have to weed those anymore because the plants have been removed?
If maintenance needs are identified, they will get put onto the work plan and work schedule within those project areas.
So I guess I'm getting to, since there are several places where the trees and bushes have been replaced with pavement, shouldn't the cost of the contract go down a little bit? Because they don't have to weed those anymore?
So some of those project areas are within areas that we service in-house.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
so my question is, they've done this work for 8 years, correct? And it seemed like the other day we had to go to bid on tree services because we'd had them for 6, 7 years. Did this go to competitive bid, or is this the last time we get to just automatic, or what's?
Yeah, so it's a good question. This is a specific type of contract that does not require competitive bidding for its amendment. It doesn't qualify as a quote-unquote public works contract under state law, which is what triggers those requirements. That's why we didn't go out to bid. We always have the option to go out to bid, but frequently when it's a contractor like this that the city's had good service from and staff believe it's a valuable and good product, then we're not required to. So that's what happened here.
So how did that differ from, we went to bid on the arborist.
Yes.
I don't understand the difference. They
So the
both seem to do the same thing in a way.
Great question. It's unfortunately legally, tiny differences matter. For instance, cutting down trees in certain areas as opposed to others are public works or aren't public works, as that term's legally defined. Cutting down trees as part of a public works project does count. Cutting down trees that's solely in parks doesn't count. So it's very, there are fine lines between what has to get bid and what doesn't. I personally get asked about that all the time by city staff.
Okay, so this is, you like these guys, they do a great job, you could re-up this for 20 years and never have to go to bid? Or is there some point when you do?
So this was competitively bid originally, and they were 8 years ago.
Yeah, I know, 8 years ago, but I mean,
We've been amending it. I believe this is our last amendment that we have available to us, and then it'll have
Okay,
to
well, that was
bid
my
again.
question, so.
Yeah, so sorry, I should have added a little more detail, which is that under our internal city purchasing policies, we generally cap amendments at 5.
Yeah, okay.
But that's our internal policy.
Yeah, I guess I asked my question wrong. This is still under the amendment program.
Yes.
Next time you go out in 2027 or wherever it is, it's going to be competitively bid, probably.
Unless we can get someone to give us an exception to our purchasing policy, yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
got it. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Walsh?
Yeah, how do you decide what is done by the city, what's done by contract, and why not do all of it by the city or all of it by contract? What's the pros and cons, and how does that pencil out?
So it was initially broken down, and I believe EJ or Desiree at the time could help speak to that. So part of that was broken down to available budget and what entailed within those landscaped areas, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, so historically, we used a contractor for all of this. The city did not do any of it. Our costs were going up exponentially, in addition to the contract was getting to the point where it was too large that the companies that do this work were not providing timely service anymore to the city. So we went through a couple of different companies, and we had talked to, both Marwana and myself had talked to council on a couple different occasions about should we be bringing this in-house, and it was always, not clear cut. And then in 2019 or 2018, the state changed, or L&I specifically changed the classifications for maintenance workers to change anyone that's doing landscaping was put into the job classification as if you were installing new landscaping. It didn't matter what you were doing. So the prevailing wage effectively tripled for the majority of this. So we looked at it, and basically our cost was going to go up something like $3.5 million a year in total. It was, it was going to like quadruple the cost that the city was paying at the time. So we went through the scope of work that was being provided and basically pulled out everything that was in those higher job classifications and brought that in-house. On paper, I would love to bring 100% of this in-house. It would increase our level of service to the community. It would let us be more responsive when we get complaints about litter in certain areas, that we're paying a contractor instead of Jared, Desiree, or myself yelling at the contractor through the phone, like, you need to get someone out there. We can just, hey, staff, we need to go get this resolved. And it gets done when we ask our own staff to do it. Unfortunately, what's left in the contract, that would come at a little bit of a premium. That, we can't do the work that's on the screen in front of you for the same price that they can pay prevailing wages for. To bring enough staff in to do this, we would probably be looking at closer to $600,000 to $700,000 on an annual basis between equipment and staff salaries. That's not just wages. So, the break even isn't there for the remaining work for emptying trash cans and the work that is here. But, money aside, I would bring this in a heartbeat if we could figure out how to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, do you have a question or a motion?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, please go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move to forward the proposed option 1 to the January 6, 2026 consent agenda for approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go to J, ordinance Forged Fiber 37 LLC. You get us another $5,000 or something?
Something like that. The names are getting more creative, though.
We must be like the fiber capital of new fiber around.
Where are you at? Oh, there it is. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leonard Spadoni with Public Works, presenting an ordinance policy for adding another fiber franchise, Forged Fiber 37 LLC. The policy question before us tonight is, should the city grant Forged Fiber 37 LLC a franchise to place fiber, telecommunications, and related appurtenances within and through the city of Federal Way? Background information: Forged Fiber 37 LLC requested a franchise from the city of Federal Way to place fiber optics, cable, and appurtenances in the city of Federal Way's right-of-way. Forged Fiber 37 LLC has paid their $5,000 deposit for administration and staff time. The term of the franchise is a period of 10 years, is commencing on the effective date of the approved franchise, which is consistent with the rest of the franchises we have granted previously. Options considered: recommend adoption of the proposed Forged Fiber 37 LLC franchise ordinance to forward it to the City Council first reading, or do do not adopt the proposed ordinance and provide direction to staff. The mayor's recommendation is forward the Forged Fiber 37 LLC franchise ordinance to City Council meeting on January 6, 2026 for first reading. Any questions?
Councilmember Honda.
Thank you. How many companies do we have now in Federal Way that have franchises?
I'm not sure what the total is, but I think this is number 4 or 5 for me this year. I'm not sure if there's a big push for all of a sudden some fiber upgrade or something, because it does seem unusual that we've been barraged with them coming in. There might be some technological advancement that is coming. Some of our systems, the old coax and the Comcast, are kind of getting old and starting to get tired, and with the updated and the speeds that are coming in, that may be requiring that it is fiber optic. And that could be a part of this. The Forged Fiber is actually a subsidiary of AT&T, so they are getting into the business now. So, and it could be some of it. It seems like all the paperwork coming through is very familiar. Whether there is a clearinghouse or not, I don't know, but it seems like it's all the same kind of layout.
So they get this approved by the city. That doesn't mean that they actually go and put fiber in. They just have the ability to do it.
They just have the ability to do it. Then they go out and they start advertising through the community, saying they have facilities that are coming soon. Can want any buy-in. There's been some communications with previous. I think Fat Beam came through, Hyperfiber came through. They hadn't gotten a permit yet, and we had some interest from our citizens of what was going on. But they'll do kind of a pre-marketing strategy to see how many people they can get in, and then start. Some of them have high hopes and grandiose expectations, and others I've had no right-of-way permits applied for yet.
Okay, thank you. Oh, one more question. So could they, let's say, so Easy Fiber I know has been in a couple neighborhoods
Yes.
pretty consistently all summer. And so and I know that they're getting some customers in those neighborhoods because I've talked to people. So if this company wanted to go into that same neighborhood, is there anything stopping them from doing
No,
that?
there's not, because we can't pick one over the other, kind of the same as why we don't recommend contractors. We don't recommend one over the other, but we allow each one to come into that area. And I'm sure their marketing shows if they have nobody offering to sign up, I'm sure there's some matrix that they use.
Okay, thank you.
Council President.
So I had Easy Fiber come to my door last night, as a matter of fact, a gentleman, which I thought was kind of odd, saying that it's all underground, Easy Fiber, and that they were going through the neighborhood, and that in order to go to the house, that I would have to sign up first. And I was trying to figure out, well, if they're underground, does that mean they're going to go underground to my house? And if I signed up, they would go underground to my house? I mean, how does this work?
Usually, if it's underground, it goes in, but if you have overhead services from power or previous, they'll go whatever's easiest for them or what they recommend. It's kind of like a water service. The Lake Haven owns to the meter, and then if you want to hook up to it, you have to do all the costs from
That's
that
what I
meter
thought.
coming in. So what they're probably saying is that they have facilities available out in front on the right-of-way portion, and then if you want to sign up, then you would pay coming in. Or some of them they over promise and
Yeah,
sometimes
because there was
underdeliver.
another neighbor further down who said that they had also gone to their house. So I was trying to figure out, well, if they're underground, does that mean they're ripping up our streets, or how are they going underground?
Usually it's in the back 3 feet of the right-of-way. Behind the sidewalk is a utility strip. Sometimes they'll have to break a panel in the sidewalk, which then in their restoration, they would fix it. Sometimes it's on the other side of the street, so then they've got to cross the street. We try to work with them so that they're ahead of our overlay projects, but if they insist on going out, sometimes they make a mistake and cut it. then we have a requirement that they go 500 feet each way of the full overlay.
So this is so strange because literally I have no sidewalks, so, you know, I can see where they would go along the side of the road rather than ripping up the road. But, you know, for the whole, so really they're not putting anything in yet. They're just trying to get the customer first and then going to put it in.
In general, that you are correct, but we do have some already getting some right-of-way permits. I know Hyperfiber is working on one currently down. I haven't been in today to see if they've gotten it down at Dash Point and Pack Highway. Some of them are starting in from I think it's Zipley that used to have the old connection, and it's their trunk line that they're hooking up to start from. All of them. Some of them show it that they shotgun all over the city, which we know that's not theoretically able to happen. But most of the time, as they come in for permits, we try to slow them down a little bit. Let's get a working relationship, learn to walk before we start running.
So their thing really was, you know, Comcast is overhead, but they're underground, so we'll never lose service. That's what they were really saying.
For the most part, yes. If they already have service there, you're not going to lose service before you're able to hook up. Some of them are overlashed. That's what they call the hooking up to up in the air. And some of them they have to run in new fiber. They've been they're generally their permits. They ask around 5,000 feet of permit before they have all the picking up and cleaning up. Otherwise, their bond number gets so big. And
So how on earth could they be giving a customer a price when they don't know exactly how much?
they probably look at historical numbers from other cities as what it's cost them to run so many feet, and they know how many feet away they are, and they kind of look at how many people are going to sign up. It kind of like the old, in the 70s when the gas lines used to come in, and if you didn't get the whole neighborhood to sign up for it, they weren't coming in, even though they said they would. It's not a bait and switch, but it also is it's not as expensive as putting in the gas mains or the water mains or the sewer, where you have, you're putting in a push bore system or a pipe with a fiber lines inside of it.
Thank you.
One other question. We collect utility tax on all these runs, don't we? Since it's a telecommunications? I mean,
So none of the companies have an operating fiber system that is to consumers at this point.
well, they will. I mean,
They will, yeah.
You collect it on the cellular bill.
Yeah, so
And-
I want to say yes to that, but that hasn't been tested, and I don't think they're not that far yet, so I'm not sure we have
Well, I
that
know,
far yet either.
I thought on my Xfinity, until I moved to something different, I was paying utility tax on that bill. So these would all
Correct.
be utility tax, I would assume.
I believe you are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure either. I can
You
look
might want
into
to
it.
check on that, because that's millions of dollars of fiber over time and 100,000 people. Okay. Okay, do I have a motion?
I move to forward the proposed ordinance to the first reading on January 6, 2026.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to go to our last item, which is an ordinance to repeal of the forest practice applications. This ought to be fun.
Good evening, Chair Dovey, Council President Coach Meyer, and other council members. My name is Caitlin Starnes. I'm an associate planner here at the City of Federal Way, and I'm here to present tonight the repeal of our jurisdiction over forest practice applications. So the policy question tonight is, should the City Council repeal local jurisdiction over Class 4 general forest practice applications? Little background for you. The RCW currently regulates Class 4 forest practice permits. In the 1990s, some cities opted to absorb local jurisdiction over the review of these permits. City of Federal Way was one of those cities. And then, sorry, was one of those cities, and we chose to do it under Article 4 of Title 19. The proposed code amendments that you can see from the packet, there's just some minor code cleanup in the first section of Title 19-120. We will repeal in whole Federal Way Revised Code 19-120-180 through 210. And then that will remove the city's review of the submitted permits. These are showing the minor changes in front of you. We are just removing the city as the review body over these permits. They are still reviewed under DNR, the Department of Revenue. We're just removing ourselves from it. So new section right here is going to map out that the permits are still being reviewed under the State Department of Natural Resources. Apologies. That was an extra slide of the changes that are going forward. Timeline for adoption. Tonight we're here for LUTC. The anticipated first reading, City Council will be January 6th of 2026, and then adoption January 20th of 26. The proposed amendments are consistent with the comprehensive plan, and they bear substantial relationship to public health, safety, and welfare, and are in the best interest of the city. Policy questions tonight: adopt the proposed ordinance or do not adopt the proposed ordinance. The mayor's recommendation is option 1 for the approval of the proposed ordinance. Do I have any questions?
Honda.
Thank you. I have 2 questions. What is the definition of a forest, and where would a forest exist in Federal Way?
I don't know the definition of a forest off the top of my head. I would assume that any piece of land that is heavily vegetated with what would be a definition of a tree is my best guess.
So generally, the answer is it's a treed parcel. This particular type of forest practices application applies when you are taking trees off a parcel and you're developing the parcel, and the quantity of trees that you take off the parcel is 5,000 board feet or more. 5,000 board feet is about 1 logging truck. So this triggers whenever you're taking a bunch of trees off a parcel and developing it, and you have a logging truck or more of wood that's removed.
So a logging truck that I've seen in the past could have 10 or more trees on it?
Yes, definitely.
Do you know?
Depending on
I
the
don't
size.
know.
Depends on the
I don't know
size.
that, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the size. Obviously, if you have old growth redwoods or Douglas firs.
Right,
you're
it
probably gonna
depends
get
on the
fewer.
size of the tree.
But yeah, often more than 10, yes.
All right.
So if I could give you, if you probably weren't on the council then, but you remember the trees across from the aquatic center before they built all those houses?
Where Hong lives?
Yeah, right across on the hill, there's all
Yeah.
those houses. That was an example of when we were managing it, and that builder went right to the state, and they cut all the trees down, and we got pictures of birds falling out of nests and everything here at the city council.
Oh.
That was considered a forest at that time, and now it's all houses. So it'd be, if you can imagine all those trees that were along, right across from Flag Pavilion area, that was a forest that got clear cut for houses, and this would make that so we wouldn't be involved in it anymore.
I just can't imagine, I don't.
We don't have many
Yeah,
of those
that we
places.
don't have many places left like that.
There are still some parcels in the city that could trigger a forest practice review, but they would have to go to the state first and then bring to the city the approval of that, the approval of them cutting down the trees.
So is it harder to get state approval than city approval?
I am unsure, I do not know.
In the case I told you, it was much easier to get state approval than city approval.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank
just generally speaking, it's just who's reviewing the application the decisional criteria are the same. So what that should mean is, and granted, what that should mean as opposed to what it does mean, but what that should mean is that the answer should be the same, whomever's reviewing it, whether it be somebody at the state or whether it be a local planner.
One more question. Does it come back to the city council for approval, or once the decision is made by the state or the city, it's a done decision?
I believe it's a done decision. The
Okay.
city planner, the planners will review it and make sure that it's all together.
Yeah, it's a completely administrative decision, so it's just staff at the state level or
Okay.
staff at the city level. There's no council involvement.
So this is saving staff time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Walsh.
Well, why did the city start doing the reviews to begin with instead of the state?
We started doing it in 2009. That was when the city first elected to do it. It's an option. You can do it or we don't have to do it, but we can do it. At the time, that ordinance, the rationale for passing it, at least as written in the recitals of the ordinance, was it meant that the developer had a one-stop shop. They could just come to the city and they could get their forest practices permit as well as their other permitting from the same person, as opposed to having to go to two places. So that's what I can tell you based off of that, the recitals to that original ordinance.
And so why reverse it now?
To save staff time and resources.
Okay. So the fees for it are less than what the, okay. I like that then.
Okay, no other lights. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to forward the proposed ordinance to the first reading on January 6, 2026.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you for your time.
I think, let me see there. Do we have anything else? Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up? The next meeting will be in February. So, seeing none, we'll now be adjourned, and thank you all for being here.